Alright, so hopefully this works. That right there that we're just seeing disappear is the sun being covered up. So then I took my filter off of my camera, and that's what was there. This was 2017. I just want to show you. This is actually a video of it that we're watching. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Maybe a little further, because I think playing it in the background is probably going to be not what I want to do. I want to show you something on my desktop. But this should be, I don't know. Looks like I'm already having trouble. I'm just going to take, yeah. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. Well, let's go over here then, I guess. So this is like moments before that eclipse. And you can see some sunspots, but this did that. That was just a quick clip. Let me show you something else about the solar eclipse that I filmed. I just want to show you some things that I noticed while watching it. Let's see here. Well, maybe I should just show you this. This is like a horrible time lapse. So if it'll play, it seems like my computer's slow, and it's probably because I have 4. So what I'll probably do, if I was smart. Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. I have to pause that. Okay, I just have to remove it. Okay, this is what we have to do first, so I can close these pages. Okay, so, what's the date here? This is 7/18. So, right now, wow, I'm behind. It's the 9th. So let's see. Oops, wrong one. This one here, where's this? This is the 16th. So this is 7 days from now. And if you go look at the moon right now, it matches all this. Okay, so the point here, on Uncommon Ground, Wes, Blaze, Music, and Sean, they were talking about the moon. They were talking about a bunch of stuff. But one of the things that Wes brought up, got brought up in a comment, from Flat Earth Math. And I just will be going over that comment. But the interesting thing that Wes said was, if we see when there's a solar eclipse, like I will try to show you footage of, when there's a solar eclipse, we see what appears to be, the moon going in front of the sun. And I mean, that's what everybody probably understands it to be. But when we actually look at all the details of a solar eclipse, it tells us something else. I have another example. Okay, let me just zoom in on this moon, okay? So, right there. Oh, wait, let me see if I have a different page. I thought I had one open that was, okay, this is, this is the one. Let me zoom out. Okay. So this is, let me turn the daytime off. Okay, so if this is the middle of the day, just so you know. Back in two, 2019, November 11th, 7:23. This is AM, but watch this. When I zoom in, or let me just zoom out to show you where the ground is and everything, okay? So the sun's just coming up. And I was actually, we're on Stellarium, so this is not real. It's a program, but this is actually what I saw out my backyard. It's very close to what I saw out my backyard. But I turned the daylight off so you guys can see what's in front of it. Mercury. Okay? So if I hit this play button, so if we go, let's go to 7:24. So I'll have to zoom back out and then look at this. Okay. So this is about what you can do with your camera. You can see this, right? Do you guys, I'm zooming in on Stellarium. Okay. Whoops. Whoops. I don't know. I guess I can't do that. Okay. Let's just see how fast it goes. If you can even see it. Oh, it's already going. Okay. I better pause it. That right there. And since we're doing this live right now, morning, Tony. I was thinking in the back of my mind, I should name this stream Tony's Best Competition or something like that. You know what I mean? Good old rival YouTubers, me and Tony. You guys, I can't believe that I put that thumbnail on there. I don't know why. I just felt like doing it, so I did. But yeah, you see this black thing is like a silhouette, right? I mean, it's not that Mercury would be black. We wouldn't even know. But when I filmed it, I mean, I could see it like from about that close, and that's exactly what it looked like. But here's the thing. You can see how small that is from the ground. You know what I mean? You know how big the sun is. So I just want you to remember that this is an example of something going in front of the sun, and it's black, right? It almost looks like it's darker than the sky behind it here on this program here. But let's look at this other one. Okay, so I don't know why. The reason why I had next week is because there's the new moon. Okay. I'm gonna do this. This is the one I was looking for. Okay, let's just watch this. How did I do that before? So this is actually right before that eclipse, or this is that eclipse. I'm sorry. The one that I filmed that I will show you, this is that eclipse on Stellarium. So we're back in 2017, August 21st. And it's 1:50, I think, or yeah. And it's PM. Let me show you. I turned the atmosphere off. So this is the middle of the day. Let me zoom back out. This is the middle of the day. Oops, did I make the ground disappear? No. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. So the sun was hot. And when we turn the daylight off, you can see the moon is about to pass over. And look, I'm actually in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's very close to where I was. And I just want to show you, how did I do that now? I think I went, I was just doing it by the minute maybe. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay, so you can tell that, let me zoom in a little further. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Sorry. So that's as we're going. Let me get repositioned. So the sun goes faster than the moon. So let me go back to, I think 130 or something, or maybe 110. I don't know. Okay. Because I don't remember exactly what time it was. So let's go back a little further. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you what I filmed of this. Hopefully my computer will, hopefully it will work. Let's see. Let me do one more thing. Okay, so it must have been 12:30 or something. So anyway, that other video of the sun that I had was probably at like, it was probably at like 12. Let's just see what happens if we go to 12. Because we just had to, we stopped at a gas station and then we drove to the place where we were going to film it. So if it was 12, nope, it couldn't have been 12. It had to be before 12. Because the moon, you couldn't see it yet. So let's go to 11 just to see. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So why on Stellarium is there a black moon there? Well, because it's... Whoops, the wrong one. Because it's daytime. Oh, I guess there is a black moon there. That didn't get... There was no black moon there to film. It just wasn't there, guys. So, I know Stellarium's just a program, but I just want to show you. I have to shut these down before I can play the video or something, I think. So anyway, I had to just show you these, because these are supposedly, and I would say the position on all this stuff is right on. And that's fine. And people say it's programmed for a globe. It's programmed. That's what it's programmed for. So that's why it has this feature, because it's supposed to be realistic. Notice if I go like this or like this, we don't live in a place like that. We live on a place like that. Very simple. Okay, so Mercury went in front of the sun, looked like that. I'm going to close that one. Okay, we were looking at the eclipse here. Oops, let me just show you one more thing. Now that I really spun it all out of control. Okay, so we're in Lincoln, we're looking up. All right, and so if I go forward in time to 12, oops, I zoom in too far. And then I go to 1. So it looks like right then it was almost eclipsed. So it was eclipsed, right? That's what we saw. I mean, let me go minute by minute. Okay, see how fast the sun... This is the real direction. So this is going backwards. Let me go like this. Oop. So this is how time goes. The sun is moving towards the west, and the moon is going slower. And that's the pace that they have. Okay, I'm trying to make it you know, like how we could picture it. But here's the thing, is that we didn't see this black circle go beyond the sun, really. I mean, I'm going to show you some cool footage. But in order to do that, I'm going to close all these. Oh, you guys will love this TikTok voice generator thing I found. You'll enjoy it for a long time. I'm just kidding. So here, this is, let's go to the 16th. So this is a week from today, right? So a week from today, looking to the west. And what time was it? This says 7:02. I don't know if that matters, but I just want to show you where the moon is. You can see that Stellarium puts a black circle there. Okay, I gotta zoom in to show you because it actually is there. So, does anybody know if there's something going across the sky that covers up the stars as it goes by? I've never even thought about filming that or trying to film that. If it's the moon during a if it's just like going and passing the sun right above it or right below it, like 5 degrees or whatever it is, then we should be able to see it. Even stellarium, you can see it. But here's another thing. The sun's right there. So I think people forget about the sun, but the atmosphere, you'd see a black dot through the atmosphere. Because the sun, light from the sun would be getting blocked. Like it should look just like with Mercury, how there's a black circle there. That's what it should look like wherever the moon is near a new moon. It just should. But I turned it off because I want to show you that this is a week from now, and then if we go a week and 2 days, or about 2 days from now. Whoops, sorry. Oh, I did something wrong. I gotta turn the daylight on, otherwise I don't know where I'm. Okay. Whoa. $7:18. Oh, that's not right. Or is it? Yeah, it is. That's right. So that's like 9 days from now. Okay, we're looking west. Near Vicksburg Lane. That's... I don't know where that is. Let's do this. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I guess it's in the right area or whatever. I'm getting confused all of a sudden. Sorry, guys. Let me go back over to this page and see if I can get my bearings back. Let's watch the sun go over. What's going on with that? Oh, okay. Sunset. Sorry, guys. I think I got it back. So I gotta turn around, though, to the east. There we go. Now I can turn the daylight back off. If the sun is shining in this direction, and you hold a frisbee in your hand, you'll see the silhouette of the frisbee, right? So, let's see here. Let's make some sense out of this, okay? Bye-bye, bye-bye. And bye-bye TikTok generator, you were fun. You were fun to play with. Okay, this can stay. Alright, let's see if the video will play. Oh, let's see, what do I have to do? I have to do stop cam, because that, I think, also will help. Okay. One thing to make note of, this is another camera angle that day during that eclipse. Let's not ignore this. This is a time lapse. Ooh, that's a sharp edge on that shadow. Do you see that? Boom, boom. So that shadow was... I'm going to just bring it back to the beginning. So that was the entirety of totality, starting right... I'm going to try to stop it when it's halfway across the screen. Okay, do you guys see that? Tell me if that, let me pull something up. So I'm going to ask to see an image, or we'll find an image from the space station. Okay, I should probably just let it keep playing, if it'll play. Let me turn the sound off. Okay, so, so this is basically what you're watching is, I set the camera up right before totality, and then I turned it off right after totality. But I want you to pay attention to this shadow, okay? Keep in mind that it was about 2.5 minutes of where we were in, like, dark. And it was like you could almost see it going past you. Or, like, getting to you. But the shadow that it made is not, it's, they say there's an umbra and a penumbra, and that's why the shadow is only 70 miles in diameter. But the problem is it's not what they say, and I wanted to show you a ridiculous image from space. Because if this was the case, then we would have filmed this. Let's see here. Images. I'm just trying to find some, or I guess I have to bring you to my desktop. So start cam. Let's see. Okay. I wish I could get a NASA view. Here we go. I don't know if this is going to be. Oh, what do you know? That's the one that I filmed. Okay. I just got to show you this because something's off. Someone's wrong. Okay. Let's just analyze the size of this. Sorry, I can't really get you a better view, but see that shadow? That's what they would say the umbra is, and then the penumbra is in the middle of that's a real shadow. Okay. That's like all of America. Right? Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Can I pause this thing? Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can pause it, or I can get closer. Look at that. Whoops. I don't know what to do, though. Let's see here. Okay, here. That's a little better view, right? Can you guys tell me... Okay, like, I got to explain my camera. It was a GoPro camera, and I had it just sitting on the windshield of my truck. And I was like, I'll record with this. You know, I couldn't really pay attention to it because I was trying to do other stuff. But let's compare this. Okay, I wish I could pause this. Let me take a screenshot. Just give me a second. I just kind of want to show you this, and I can do this. Look at this. I can zoom in. Or is that just, are you guys seeing it zoomed in? I don't know. I can't tell. But we're going to take a snapshot here, a couple snapshots. We're going to look at them real quick because I think there's something interesting here. Let's see, picture. All right. Here we go. Let's look at this one. Okay. Let me zoom back out. Okay, let me stop this now. See ya, NASA. Stop taking up my computer energy. Okay, now let me show you another image. Copy image? How am I gonna get that in there? I guess I save it. Okay. Okay, tell me if this picture, you know what we can do? I just had an idea. See, I should probably do this more, but okay, this here, now we're gonna go and put that video back up. How do I do that? Oh, I can't do that. We're gonna have to do one at a time, and you're gonna have to use your memory. So this is the perfect place to stop the shadow. So I think Or maybe that's not even America. I don't know. Where is that? Where is that? We need to know, you guys. We need to know what country that is that has a slight crack in it. Okay. Oh, we got something down here. Man. Hey, maybe there's some upside down boats, or what's this land over here? Where is that? Who lives there? Who's down here? Who's that? Who lives on that? Anybody? Okay, let's look at a different picture because this is not working. Let's try. Let's see if. Okay, the one before that maybe would be. Okay, who's the good at. Oh, is that Florida? I'm going to say that's Florida. That's got to be Florida, right? Okay, so Florida's that big. Whoa, Florida's small. See, Florida's right there. And the eclipse is about, how big is it? How big is the shadow look to you guys if we were to, let me get them in the view together. Okay, so I wish I could point at it. Let's see, what can I do? Maybe I can, maybe I can add a text, like just the size of Florida. If I was to do, like, let's see, maybe like if I did an L or something, and then I can maybe, I don't know if I can do this, but yeah, I gotta make it bigger. I want to show you guys something. This is wrong because I was there. That's all I'm trying to say. Let me get this red off here. Let's just go white. Maybe that's a mistake. Oh, no, that's perfect. Or should we go green, just like Florida? I mean, I'm just... There, that matches better, doesn't it? Anyway, we need to make it... Right now it's 100. We need to make it 200. Let's see what happens. 200. There. Oh, that's too big, though. Well, we'll just change it to a different letter. We'll go with, oops, how do I do? I can't even change it now, can I? Oh, there we go. Let's change it to, how about a V? No, that's not good. How about if we just stick with I? Sorry, guys. Okay. So that's about the size of Florida, and all I'm trying to do is just show you something. I can't tip this at an angle just because I'm limited here. So we're going to keep this eye on here, though. So I want to show you that, like, this is, like, at least a few Floridas of, like, covering. Let's look at another picture. Let me zoom back out. Oh, I just ruined our whole Florida. Yeah, I ruined that because I changed the size. So look at this. Man, I didn't really get very much. Okay, here is, I finally found what I was trying to do. Okay, this here is a picture I took. This is actually a screenshot of a video that we are going to watch if it will play. Here's another screenshot. Here's another screenshot. So it's like you can see the stuff happening on the sun because the moon, or this, whatever is covering it, the moon, I think it's the moon, but all I would be able to say is it's not like some object that's reflecting the light of the sun, because we would see it during new moon. Shout out Uncommon Ground for reminding me of that. Here's another image. So you can see that the moon, remember we were looking on stellarium and the moon was going slower than the sun. And the sun was starting to pass it up. And here's another image. Let's see, here's another one. So then here is, okay, so let's just zoom in. So this is the United States, Mexico, Florida's under the shadow right now. And so is the rest of the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico so that's a huge shadow. So then let's see. Let me go back to the old style way. Okay, I gotta stop the camera now. I gotta try to do my best here to make this work. Okay, tell me if that matches with this. Keep in mind that this time lapse. The shadow part of the time lapse is like, let me look that up. I think it's 2.5 minutes. Because I want to make sure. 2017. Okay, let's see. Lincoln. Eclipse ends at 1303. Let's see. Yeah, let's just click on this website. Or no, let's see. Nebraska, nice. Alright, I'm going to download this picture so I can show some of that too. Because, I mean, we have, like, we see things in the sky, and then we have physical shadows on the ground. We can learn a lot from that. There's something making a sharp shadow on the ground. So here, let's look at this. That shadow. Boom. That doesn't cover all of Florida, sorry. That doesn't even nearly cover halfway across the skinny part of Florida. Let's play it again. Boom. Boom. That's like not a big wishy-washy shadow like we were just looking at right here. Let me zoom back out just to give you some perspective. That's not the shadow that happened on the Earth. So whatever they're doing with their spectroscopy or whatever, satellites, whatever they're doing, let them do it. I don't care. I'm not interested. This is garbage. This is not what it looked like. Because I was there on the ground with a physical shadow going over me. Let's go back to... So it was the middle of the day and I was seeing this. And I was seeing this. Middle of the day. Middle of the day. But the people 10 miles to the north or south, or maybe 20 miles, they didn't quite see the thing totally covered up. They saw it like, well, they saw it like that when it went over or something, or more. Let's see, maybe like that. So this was before, yeah, this was before it happened. I'm not showing you the right screen, am I? I just realized, I think. I don't know. I don't know what I'm showing you. Okay, so what we're going to look at is... Sorry. Video. Oh, I'm doing this all wrong, guys. I'm doing it in the wrong program. Let me just put you on my desktop. Okay. I just wanted to show you this. This is actually what happened too. This dark part, this is the state of Nebraska, okay? And the dark part is where the shadow was. And it was like, when it got to us, it got dark. And then it was dark for 2.5 minutes, like we saw in the video. Let me make sure you guys are seeing my screen. Okay, good, you are. So this is accurate. This is like really what happened. I was right here, but we drove south of Lincoln. We were right to the center. We were right here. Right in whatever that, I don't even know what town it was, but we were just south of Lincoln. And And this is what I filmed there. This is a time lapse. That's that blue line. Okay? It's a circle as it goes over. It's not a line, but it's a circle. This is showing where it went. Where I got to get you back on the other page. Sorry. This long line, it went over as a circle. So there's a better way to show you. I think there's one up here. Yeah. So this was the shape. If you look at that's kind of the shape that went over. And it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Actually, rather than watching a time lapse of it, Thomas Morgan says he was in Lakeland, Florida, and it didn't even cover that county or city. And it just stayed daylight out, didn't it? See, isn't that weird? I want to show you in real time. That's what we have to do. So one of these videos, I think it's this one. Okay, let me just, so it's a long video, so I think it's like gonna have a hard time playing or something. Okay, so this is, I want you to see the instant and what I saw. So we're looking at it right now. Sorry, guys. Okay, this is with a solar filter. So, like, it's very bright. So it's a solar filter, and I didn't know what else to do. But once that was gone, I said, I'm taking the filter off. So it was just a regular camera. And as soon as I got the filter off, is when you see like the circle thing, and you can see a lot better. So I just didn't know what to do before that. So I just did that. I did what I did. So now I got the cover off, and that's what, like, immediate. I'm just playing it in real time. So that's what I saw immediately. Pretty cool, huh? But there's some things that we can notice and that we can actually know about this. It looks like it's paused, but it's not. If you actually look at that white stuff, it kind of like, I guess that's a corona or whatever. It kind of illuminates, or it's moving a lot like a star or something even. But anyway, I'm going to show you another video of it too, or a couple more videos of it. Let me get those, or one of them. I just want to show you some things that when I look, I say, well, that tells me something is wrong. But I got to find this here. I think, no, that's not the real time. I'm trying to find the shadow in real time. But it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds, guys. Okay, so November 19th, 2021, there was a lunar eclipse. Whoa, I'm gonna turn the music off. Or down, off. I sort of time-lapsed it. It takes, I think this was, it's November, so everything was freezing. That's why it's all over the screen. But I tried to do a time-lapse of it. And that was all I got. I guess. Yeah, that was all I got. Oh, no, maybe not. Am I just playing it over again? Yeah, I'm just playing it over again. Okay, there's a different one. Hold on. Okay, this might just be a video. Oh yeah, this is like a P1000. So it's a good shot though. It had just started pretty much. This was I think I can't remember what I said, 2019. But there's one with a time lapse that I wanted to show you. So where are we here? Okay. And then we're gonna look at some comments and go over some things that I think it like. Man, if people haven't thought about some of this stuff in the way that I've been seeing certain things. What's playing back there? This ain't the video either. I guess I might not have the video I'm looking for. Every time there's some eclipse or something like that, I'm always trying to film it, but I'm not. Usually in November, it's freezing, and I even put a heater out there, but it's like the motors, they just freeze up, and it just never tracks good. So I gotta remember that in the winter, not to go out as much. No, I'm just kidding. I'll see if I can find that video. There's another video I want to show you, that's all. Okay, there's the shadow. Huh. It seems as though I thought I downloaded some videos that I didn't download. Download from my own channel. Okay, let's see. Well, we might just go to... Man, I really want to show you. Eclipse. I guess it was probably this one. We already watched it, but I guess it was probably this one. 11/19/21. Yeah, that was the one. So that's not the shadow of the Earth, guys. It's not. Because if it was, first of all, let's look at that. You guys, this is so silly. Let's look at that footage that we looked at that I said this is taken just with my P1000. You can hear it at the beginning. Let's do it. Let's listen. Okay, that is a P1000. You can hear it. Did you hear it? How much you want to bet that I'm not holding my camera upside down? You want to bet? It's a lunar eclipse. I was holding my camera straight up and down, right? Like anyone would. So, why is the shadow of the Earth beneath your feet on the top of the moon? That's dumb. It's not the shadow of the Earth. It's something else. I don't know what it is. I don't have to know what it is to know that it's not the Earth. Whatever's doing that, like the way I think about it, that's something that tells us time. That has something to do with time. It has something to do with a season or a sign from God or something like that. That's happening, and it looks like it's being shadowed, but it becomes red, and then it sweeps across, like we were watching this time lapse here. Right? See that, how it happens? That's not the ground doing that, you guys. That's not the Earth doing that. It can't be. If it's doing that, why does it, like, how can it be on... Oh, the sun would have to be in the place that the sun isn't, for it to have a shadow on top. The sun would have to be behind you. If the Earth was going to cast a shadow, I'm just saying. Okay, let's look at this shadow again of the... Well, let me just see if this is the video. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's the time lapse. Okay. That's the time lapse of it. That's really fast. Okay, so add to stream. Let's see this one. This is the shadow again. It's a 70 mile like circular shadow that actually was on the ground. And what happens when we saw this black thing go? It's a silhouette of probably the moon, right? Go in front of the sun. We saw it in the video. And I showed you Mercury on Stellarium. That is what I saw through my telescope when Mercury went in front of the sun. It's just this black little dot thing, right? Well, the point I would make is that only when something is directly in front, or I'll say between you and the sun, or between you and the moon, or whatever, is it visible. The moon is not, the moon is not what we think it is. And the earth is not up in the sky. That's another thing. Here, let's look at this video while we're waiting. The earth isn't up in the sky. Oh, this one's annoying. Okay, hold on, sorry. So the earth beneath you is going to, how does that work, guys? It just doesn't work. If the earth beneath your feet is causing that shadow, where are you in that shadow? Oh, that's the bottom of Earth. So that's the people in Australia that are causing that shadow. Then where's the sun? It's, what is it, midday in Australia? But it's night where I'm at, and there's an eclipse happening on the top of the moon. Sorry, guys. That's what I'm saying, Tony. Where's the sun? Because as this happens, is that saying that the sun is like going directly, or the moon is being completely occulted by the earth beneath your feet, even though I'm filming it up in the sky? Like, I'm pointing my camera up in the sky. The earth is beneath me. How could I possibly be looking at a shadow of the earth? That makes no sense. So then let's look at one other thing. So there's like an ecliptic, right? And the better way to say it is the sun and moon, they rise in the east and they set in the west. And they take a path that changes throughout the seasons. And changes from each other too. But they go around about this, like they go around each other very precisely, this pretty much the same. And the sun catches back up to the moon, and it catches back up to the moon about every 4 weeks. And so that there's phases, and it goes through its phases, and then there's a new moon, which we can't see in the sky, even though it's like between you and this super bright light, apparently. Let's do this. I guess I gotta bring this comment up on my phone, is where I have it. Flat Earth Math. He makes videos sometimes, and I'm not real familiar with his channel, but I know that he is a nice fella. You know, he's not one of those, what do you call them, anti-flat earthers or whatever. He's not like that. But at the same time, he believes what he believes, you know, and I believe what I believe, but that's fine. I do want to look at some of his, or some of the things that he brought up. Let's see here. And I mean, some of the comments, like, you can tell that, we'll talk about comments on my channel after that. So I'm not talking about flat Earth math when I'm saying some of the comments that I'm getting on my channel just show me that you're like a lot of people are don't even have an idea about like don't even and it's like they know it that they haven't even tried to understand something at all, and their comments shows that, and it's like they don't even understand what they're saying, and then they're saying like that's so dumb or whatever. And the problem is that what they're saying, it first of all, is completely false, and then the way that they say it, it's hard to like say, well, look again because you're mistaken, or what do you say? I mean, no one wants to be told, oh, you're wrong, you know. Let's see if I can find this. Here it is. 22 replies. We made lots of comments. Oh wait, no, that was on one of my videos, I think. Let's see. It was on why don't we see the new moon? So we'll probably have to, I didn't download that video, but I'm gonna have to. Let me do that quick. Content. Wesley's music and Sean Griffin from Kingdom in Context, they do a show called Uncommon Ground. And I have to refresh my page. And they were talking about the moon. I know I already said this, but we're going to watch the video. I should have done that earlier. So it'll take me a minute to download it. If I can even find it. Where'd it go? Why don't we see the new moon? There it is. Download. Alright. We should be able to watch it in just a second here. And we'll look at some of the comments under this video. That's Flat Earth Math commented with a few comments, and I wanted to... He said some of these things never get brought up or addressed or, explained. And I'm going to give it a shot. So we'll do that in a second. Let's watch this video.
As a child, why don't we see a solar eclipse more often? If it's true that the moon has an orbit where about every 27, 28 days, it makes its way around the Earth. We're turning every day. So why don't we have a solar eclipse every month of some kind? It just turns out that according to NASA, the moon's orbit wobbles. Sometimes the shadow's too high above the Earth, over the sun. Sometimes it's too low underneath the sun. This is how they say this is why they say we don't have one every month, because it has to be just right. The moon the moon has to hit that coincidental alignment. So then if this is the black disk of the moon that we see during the eclipse, and it's just so dark, right? Completely covering up the light of the sun, then why don't we ever see the black disk of the new moon, as they say it is during the solar eclipse? Why don't we ever see that move across the daytime sky like this?
Well, every month you should see something.
I remember one.
They are right. You can't argue with it either. Because if you take a light in your basement or at night or whatever, or better yet, okay, do this, because this is the same thing to do. Take a silver dollar or a spoon or whatever, and just hold it in your hand and put it between your eye and the sun, and tell me if you can see a black silhouette of that spoon. Now hold it a little bit away from the sun so that the sun's blinding your eyes. You can still see a black silhouette of the spoon because the sunlight is being blocked by it. The sun, even if it's not right at where the sun is, if it's super bright around the sun. Let me show you this video again. This one is with the solar filter, and you can still see that it's orange around the sun. the whole sky lights up orange around, or whatever lights up around the sun. And so if something is in the middle, or even anywhere near it, you would see exactly what Wes was saying. So I think that that's... Oh, so let's look at these comments. All right. Okay, so the comments. So I'm going to start off with Flat Earth Math, because I was having kind of a back and forth conversation with him on one of his videos in the comment section. And, you know, there's a lot of things that he says that I think are just totally wrong. But it's not like a I'm right and you're wrong type of wrong. I'm talking about that if you look at everything, like he was talking about the model that he made, and certain things didn't work on the flat model that he made, and he put a lot of effort into it, so I'm not ripping on him at all. What I'm saying is that placing in his model for the flat earth or whatever, he needed to do some math or whatever. And so he needed to know how far away the sun was, or, you know, you could plug in whatever you wanted, but that had to be a number, the distance to the sun, or what was some of the other ones, like, or maybe distance to the moon, I don't remember. But the way that almost all people that believe in flat earth would have a problem with that is because they say, well, we live in the model. You can't make a model of this place. And they'd say, well, what about the globe? We got the globe. And I'd say you don't have a accurate model of a globe. Like, you can you do a lot of things on the globe that are actually, and it's weird to have my point of view, and a lot of people do, that the things you're doing that are verifying the curvature, like boats sailing over a curve as they go away from you, these things are debunked. And it's not that they were like totally wrong, because things appear certain ways, but until you understand what's happening, you might be able to look at them one way and say, no, I'm pretty sure. Like, here's an example. The ship's going over the... So as you watch a ship sail away from you, the last part of it you can see is like the sails of a sailboat, right? The top of it. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. No matter if the earth is curved or if it's flat, that's what happens. It's going to happen. First of all, that is what happens. So we can say, oh, we know what's causing that. Or we can say, that is something that we see that conflicts with something else that we are seeing as we see that. You're seeing a boat going down a curve, but there's no curve left to right. So is it that the water is curved only as it goes away from you, but it's not curved left and right where the horizon is? Like if you're standing at the ocean, that's a straight line. So what's going on? Because if you're watching a boat sail over the curve, or what looks like, say, it sinking down, you know, it's not, I mean, it's what, you can maybe see 20 miles or something. You can't see very far, maybe even more, but I don't really think you're going to be seeing a boat much further than like 20 miles. Maybe a little bit more. But if you, yeah, so say it goes down and you see the last of the top of the boat and it's gone. Say that, let's double it. Let's say 40 miles. Let's say 60 miles. Let's say you saw that boat 60 miles away. And then you saw it go over the curve. So I'm trying to like stretch it out, right? So you saw it go over the curve. So now you got 60 miles. So let's turn the 60 miles 90 degrees and look at it. How much of that 60 miles does when you're standing at the ocean, how much of, like, at the horizon, how far is it left to right? It's got to be many 100 miles, like at least a couple 100 miles, right? Or 100 miles, maybe 150 miles. All I'm saying is that the way we see the world, it appears, if you're especially over water, that things go down a curve or something as they go away from you. Well, they're shrinking because they're going away from you. They're shrinking in size, and they're staying down on the water. So what's going to happen if a wave came as that boat's floating away, or ship? It's going to cover up the boat pretty soon. And so as the boat gets smaller, it's not going over any curvature. It's just shrinking as it goes away from you, and it's staying at the very bottom of everything, like it's actually on the surface. So any waves or anything in between you, you're going to see the tallest of that is going to block it. If there's, that's how every sunset works. That's how it, yeah. That's why the stars and everything go into the horizon. They're never touching the ground. The stars, the sun, the moon, they never go into the ground. They never go, the earth never goes around the sun. There's so many things that we were taught that are wrong. So let me grab this. I gotta turn the light on here. Hold on. Okay, so I would love to read out all the comments, but I'm gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna start with one of the ones I was talking about, and then we'll go to flat Earth math. So round Earth reality said a new moon has nothing to do with eclipses. Now, it doesn't matter if you know that if you know that's wrong or not. But the point is that he came in and made like a claim that, well, I replied, I said, keep testing these things out, friend. Just so you know, solar eclipses only happen when it is a new moon. They can only happen when it's a new moon. So they do have something to do with eclipses, for sure. Because eclipses only can happen, solar eclipses can only happen on a new moon. But obviously his reality is around Earth, because his comment's round Earth reality. But I think, like, those kind of people, I hope that they're careful to not have, like, an idea that they understand something, maybe that they don't, and maybe that they need to look in and try to understand it, more details of it. So then, here we go, with Flat Earth Math. Says, OMG, so much misunderstanding. So this is about Wes's video. I'll just add it to the stream here again.
As a child, why don't we see a solar eclipse more often?
So I'm just going to bring it to the part where he kind of showed a animation of what he was thinking we might see. Something like that, okay? Because that's how it would be. So anyway, this is Flat Earth Math. OMG, so much misunderstanding. First of all, the moon does not wobble. Wes explained exactly what he meant when he said the word wobble. And Wes was actually, Flat Earth Math, Wes was actually saying what, like, almost word for word, what NASA says. He went and said, the mainstream information says this, and he explained exactly what he meant when he said wobble. We're going to listen to it. Wes is being more clear than I've ever been in any of my videos. He's being very clear because I think he wants to not be misunderstood. So let's not misunderstand him.
It has an orbit where about every 27, 28 days, it makes its way around the Earth. We're turning every day. So why don't we have a solar eclipse every month of some kind?
So he's being very clear. He's asking asking the question, so why don't we have this every month of some kind?
It just turns out that according to NASA, the moon.
So you see, he said according to NASA. That means if he's a good whatever content creator, he's like not going to put false information in his videos. So he said according to NASA. So then now he's going to say what NASA says.
Orbit wobbles.
So NASA does say that the moon's orbit wobbles like the ecliptic.
Sometimes the shadow's too high above the Earth, over the sun.
Like 5 degrees, it goes in 5 degrees. It stays at like 5 degrees from the ecliptic or whatever.
Sometimes it's too low underneath the sun.
See how he's explaining what he means by wobble?
This is how they say this is why they say we don't have one every month, because
So flat earth math, I mean, I think it's disingenuous for you to say, first of all, the moon does not wobble. That he wasn't saying that the moon wobbles at all. So that's like, you're not listening to what he said. He's talking about the moon's orbit and its trajectory, its path, its orbit. That wobbles. So that's the only reason why we don't have the moon going directly in front of the sun. It goes above it or below it or whatever. And I think you know that. So that seems disingenuous, actually. I mean, does not wobble. So flat earth math says its orbital plane is simply inclined 5 degrees from Earth's orbital plane. I don't think Earth has an orbital plane myself. I've never seen that. We could always talk about the motion of the stars if we wanted to talk about orbital planes. This means about twice a year the sun, earth, moon will be lined up. I call this eclipse season. Depending on how perfectly you have new moon, full moon during this time, you may have an actual eclipse. So you are verifying what round earth reality said was totally wrong, right? But not, again, that we all have to learn. So round earth reality, it doesn't mean the earth's flat because you were wrong about that. Just, there's a lot of things that I've learned. There's a lot of things that I still have to learn, you know. So then he says, next, the new moon does not produce black light. I don't think Wes said that either. I think that's your claim. That would be like a straw man claim. I don't think anybody said anything's producing black light. Let's see.
You know, it has to be just right. The moon, the moon has to hit that coincidental alignment. So then, if this is the black disk of the moon that we see during the eclipse, and it's just so dark, right? Completely covering up the light of the sun, then why don't we ever see the black disk of the new moon, as they say it is during the solar eclipse? Why don't we ever see that move across the daytime sky like this?
So nobody said anything about any kind of black light. Like that's a concept that I think is actually just called darkness, dark. So black light, I know the party lights, you know, the purple black lights, but I'm talking about, I don't think anybody said anything about producing black light. I wish I could get these comments on the screen for you guys. I think I can, actually. What am I thinking? I just want you to be able to see, so it's clear. Let's see, sorry here. Okay, there we go. Comments. You got it up there already? All right. So I got to find it, though. That might be the problem. Let's see. Or wait, I know which video it is. It's the one with Wes in it. Oops. Oh, I haven't responded. I did respond. That's the problem here. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, Mel Gig. Mel Gig's after me again. Okay, there's the video. Okay, so how do I get to Flat Earth Math? Here we go. This is the comment. Finally, I found it. Nice. Okay, so read more. Okay. So the new moon does not produce black light. I think we all agree. And then he says, it only appears black when it's eclipsing the sun, which is 1,000,000 times brighter. 7 times brighter. But during a bright blue sky day, the moon is behind the sky. Except that when you can see the moon in the daytime, right? Like, I put up on my channel all the time and do live streams of the daytime moon all the time on TikTok, right? I mean, I do this a lot. So you can see the moon in its phases during the day if it's in the right spot. If it's above going over you during the day. Except when it's new moon. See, there's a lot of problems with the idea that the moon is orbiting the Earth, okay? There's a lot of problems with the idea that the moon's a sphere. There's tons of problems with that. Don't get me started. Okay, let's stand 100 feet apart and put they always talk about parallax to measure the distance to the sun and to measure things in the sky, right? Which I think it's a bunch of phooey. They also mention stellar parallax, where they make this huge assumption, and I mean huge assumption that 6 months from today, that where I am on the Earth, if I point my telescope up at the sky, that I'm somehow magically, even though I went to the same parking lot, same observatory, that I'm magically 186 million miles from where I am today. Just in 6 months. But like I said, I drove to the same observatory. It was in the same spot. And I'm not being sarcastic. Stellar parallax is a joke. You have to add 186 million miles to your observations. That's not science. That's not even astronomy. It's assumptions. There is no astronomy. Like the idea of learning something by paying attention to the sky, they've confused themselves. They actually, like, flat Earth math, I think he's probably more honest than most. But there's a simple question, and there's like an honest answer, and there's a false answer, or like a lie. And like a lot of people just, like, I'll put it right out in front. It's like, it's a simple question that every one of us has an answer. And we all know the true answer. Every one of us does. The Earth's at rest. The Earth is still, it is solid. It's never moved unless there was an earthquake. What I'm saying is, you built your house on it. You've lived your life on it. So you know the truth. Is it rotating on an axis? Or is that just a huge assumption also? Just kind of like the 186 million mile change in position, when the Earth is not even part of the sky. The Earth is not a planet. It's nothing like any of the planets. The planets are like lights. Or even if some people believe that they're places. But they're nothing like Earth, even if they were places. Earth is where people live. All people that have ever lived, they live here. And it's been solid underneath them also. Because we have books, they wrote about it. Everything here gives us proof that things like, things deteriorate, but I mean, things are somewhat consistent here. They stay between certain temperatures, and we have seasons and all this stuff, right? We get time and all that stuff from the sky. It's the only place we get it. A year from now, the stars will all be in the same position as they are right now. But not one day in between. That's how we know how long a year is. It's easy. I think a month would be easy to know how long a month is by looking at the moon. Look at the phases of the moon. You'd have 4 weeks, you'd have like, it would be simple. Like right now, the moon, the phase it's in, go outside in 28 days and it'll be in the same phase. And then 28 days after that, it'll be in the same phase. It's like really easy. So you could even like give a number to the phases or a name, and they have waning gibbous and all those, and I don't even care what they call them, but the point is that they're the same. They repeat, and like people that build watches try to get as good as the sky, but they can't. The sky it's like the, it's like the watch of watches. It's like all the watches want to be like the sky, right? All the schedules want to meet what the sky is going to, we know it's going to do. It's a sure thing. The sun always comes back. It never fails. The moon always does this thing. It never fails. The sun and moon do this dance in the sky together, or a race even, and they never fail. They just continue on it. They don't burn out. They don't change size. They're just something in the sky that it's an objective part of the reality that we're in, that they're there. I'm saying that they're there, and that they rise in the east and set in the west. This gives us heat. It gives us daytime. It gives us nighttime. Like the sun rules the day and the moon rules the night. So anyway, back to the comments. Let's go here. So do I have to look at that a little bit closer? So let's see there. So the whole idea about the wobble, that just seems like you're coming from a place where you think none of us know what we're talking about, I think. So maybe I would like just think about it in a different way. I'm a 45-year-old carpenter dude, woodworker. I've always been in, been in business since school or whatever. Since I worked for a guy at Trim Rate Construction. And then I started doing stuff, and it's gone for, 25 years. And I've done great. So it worked fine. It's good. What I'm trying to say is that, just like you, I got a career, I have a house, I have all the things that we all have. So I think we all need to appreciate that, like the idea that an equatorial mount wouldn't work on over a flat Earth or whatever to track the stars. It just shows me that maybe you're looking at it in the wrong way, because the sky doesn't care whether you think the Earth is flat or a globe. The sky, you see it the same as I see it if we're in the same place. You don't get a special, round Earth reality. You don't get a special new moon. I mean, you don't get a special eclipse unless you have a new moon. So just because you say that they have nothing to do with an eclipse, or new moon and eclipse have nothing to do, that doesn't mean it's true. So when we look up at the sky, we see certain things. We can agree that we see these certain things, but when it comes to all these crazy assumptions and beliefs of matters of faith that you guys have and deny that you have, you say, no, that's a fact, that's scientifically proven, or some BS like that. No, if anybody brings up science, I just have to say everything will change, and the conversation kind of ends when if you bring up science, because I'll say, so in other words, the Earth is stationary. You said you want to do science. You can't throw your observations out and infer the complete opposite thing to be true. I think I put it. Did I put it in the? I think I did, but I'm not positive. I'll go over it right now. Should be in the description. The globe contradicts observation. So the world we live in, guys, we perceive it with our bodies. That's the only way we do. We can measure things with instruments and we can do stuff like that. But the globe contradicts observation. Did you notice that the earth never moves and is always in a state of rest or at a state of rest? Yeah, it's true. The false belief that the earth is rotating contradicts real observation. To contradict means to deny the truth of a statement by asserting the opposite. So kind of like when I say, notice how still the ground is today and every day of your life, then you might say, no, actually it's rotating. Okay, so you're contradicting your observation. You're contradicting it. So you're standing there and there's, like, you could even set your phone down with like some accelerometer or whatever. You're standing there and the ground isn't moving. And you know it, but you're going to contradict yourself and say that. So if I said, so you're saying it's a fact that it's moving even though it's not moving? Like, it's at rest, so it must be in motion? That's what you're saying? So that's not science, has nothing to do with it. So it's contradicting reality is what it is. So here's the difference. Number one, everyone who lives on Earth actually experiences and perceives a stationary Earth beneath their feet that is literally at rest. This is a real part of our reality. You guys, we all experience it the same way. Number two, if the Earth beneath their feet was a sphere that was rotating, which contradicts observation, one revolution per day, they might not feel the motion, which contradicts observation, motion does, of the sphere. So if you, like the idea, like we get this all the time where we say, well, the Earth's at rest. And then everyone's like, is an airplane, am I on at rest in the airplane when it's flying 600 miles an hour? That's not what I said. I said the Earth's at rest. The Earth, not an airplane that is actually moving. I mean, come on. We're actually talking about the ground that your house is like literally sitting on. Your house doesn't move. It's not rotating on any axis. So, let's see. So there's the number one and the number two. The number one is just stating the obvious that we all agree on. And we don't maybe agree when we have a conversation about it. Like my dad will say, well, everything's moving or something. And I'll say, well, no, it's actually the ground. I know the ground's not. And you can like touch it. It's right beneath you. And if it was moving, I think you'd be terrified. It's not moving. And people say, well, how do you know it's not moving? I know that it's not moving because that is an objective part of reality. It's the part of reality that's not moving, right? It's not difficult, but if you must have the Earth rotating, then I'll tell you, like, I don't know, go to confession or something. Like, it's weird. It's weird that you think that you can believe that and push it on other people with no evidence of it. And when you have the evidence of the complete opposite, it's like telling your kids, you know, they ask you a question and you just tell them you're like with a straight face, you tell them the exact wrong answer, the most wrong answer. Like, it asks you if the coffee's hot or if the food's hot, and you say no, and then they burn their mouth with it. They're like, I thought you said it. Like, that's what you're doing. like with the Earth, though. I'm using the idea that Earth is rotating. It's an idea. So that's what I wrote here, I guess. Let's see. It's just number one is just a statement about what everyone knows about the Earth beneath them that they call the ground. It is objective and undeniable. And number two is a hypothetical idea that opposes all perception and refuses and rejects observation. It literally contradicts the reality itself. The reality offers you and tells you all day long that it's just sitting there. It's not moving. It's not doing anything. The ground is not doing anything. It's not vibrating. It's not rotating. It's not doing anything. So what we call that in physics is we call that to be at rest. That means that something's not in motion. So if something's rotating, it's in motion, which is not at rest. So the part that is remaining in the same place all the time is the part that is at rest. And like when you turn the wheels of your car by turning the engine on and hitting the gas pedal, once the wheels on your car start turning, your car will be in motion. But previously, when it was in park, it was at a state of rest. That's why we make cars, because they help us go places. So planes, when you get in the nice, comfy seat of a plane that you might not even be able to tell you're flying. If you fell asleep and woke up in there, you'd be like, I'm not even on a plane. It's so smooth in here. I mean, we all know that exists, because here's just another idea. How people, just the idea that you wouldn't know that you're flying in a plane at 600 miles or miles an hour because you can't feel it. That's so dumb to, like, people bring that up all the time. They say, well, is the earth moving and the plane sitting still, or is the plane moving? And I'm like, every time they try to use that weird thing, they tell me that the plane's in motion and that the seat in the plane that the person's sitting in is obviously in motion. Even if it's a smooth ride, guys, it doesn't make a difference. Like you told me in the hypothetical story that it was moving. So of course it's moving. That it never goes like anywhere, like, I don't even know the right word. Okay, so back to his comment is this one's it's the third paragraph here. I hope I kind of addressed it. So it says, the irony in all of this is there's no flat earth response to any of these phenomena. I don't really think you brought any phenomena up. Very much. Math, flat earth math. Does the sun light the moon above a flat earth? No, there's just lights. Just like they look like. They are what they look like they are. The same for you as for me, as for a person that believes the earth is a piece of cheese going moldy or something. Get it? Like the sky does what it does. I don't know. So let's see. Does the sun light the moon above a flat earth? The sun, I couldn't say. I couldn't say if it does or not. I don't really know. But I know that the sun is like bright and hot, and that the moon is like cold and bright, but it's usually like it's bright at night. But during the day, I guess I wouldn't say it's bright, but you can see it. Let's see here. What produces either solar or lunar eclipses? Well, that's a question that I'd put back on you, because as I was explaining about shadows, I never actually finished. Let me grab a video. I never actually finished. I did a demonstration with my drone just to give you an idea of like another contradiction to your observation that is being made And so here you're asking me the question, and so I'm gonna explain. So I don't know all the answers to all this, but you say that your answer's right, but I'm actually trying to say no, it can't be because of this. Okay, so we saw the shadow, and that shadow, I think everyone will agree that shadow going over me in Nebraska is about 70 miles in diameter, and it took 2.5 minutes to go from one edge of the shadow to the other to pass over me, right? 2.5 minutes. So we could figure out the speed it was going. We could figure all that out. But it was very distinct edges of the shadow. That's an important thing. Now I'm going to show you if I can find the video. Or do I? Oh, I have to put it on my other program. I'm sorry, guys. I've been working kind of with two things to play videos, and I keep going to the wrong one. Let's see here. Okay. Device, video. I think I have it right here. Where are you? Video? Oh, here we are. Okay. See the drone? I think you're seeing the drone. I hope you're seeing the drone. Okay. I just flew it up in the air. If you pay attention to the size of the shadow of the drone, do you see the size is the same? And as it goes up, the edges start getting, very fuzzy or kind of faded. Let me just pause this. How do I pause this? I gotta open the program again. Too many pages open here. Okay. So, hey buddy. Hey Bobby. My cat came down to say hi. That's my drone. It's about 3 feet above the ground, okay? So let's bring it to here. Now it's about, 10? It's the same size. But you can't see the prop as well as you can right here, right? Or they don't show up as well. It's not as defined as it is right there. Okay, so we'll actually do this, and we'll even zoom in. See that? It's not as defined as it was right on the ground. As we go up, it's the same size. See it? It's the same size. And it's not as defined. Now let me analyze this for you the way that we're supposed to understand it. So that eclipse kind of proves that the Earth's about 70 miles in diameter. Because that's how shadows work. When something, and here's another thing. Let me show you. Let me see if I can find another image to show you here. How did I do that? Picture. Oh, careful, Bobby. Okay, I got to see if I can get. I just want to show you, it's a very local shadow. It's this umbra and penumbra. That's hogwash. And I'm going to show you with my own footage. The umbra and penumbra idea doesn't work because you saw the distinct, crisp edges of the shadow during that time lapse. It was it went from being not in totality to being in totality in a few seconds. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a gradual thing. It wasn't gradual. Let's see here. Downloads or videos? Videos. Oh boy. Hey, Flat Earth Math is here. That's awesome. Let's see. I just got here. No, that's not how shadows work. The umbra was 70 miles wide, but the penumbra was 3,000 miles wide. Okay, so you're here, so I'll show you my video that really kind of says that there's no penumbra. There's no penumbra 3,000 miles wide that shows up the way that I recorded it anyway. Let me show you. Whoops. Here we go. Glad you're here. Here we go. This is a time lapse of totality taken from a GoPro that I just set on the windshield of my truck, set it down and let it slide down to the windshield wiper, and it was the angle was about right. So it's just sitting on my pickup, and this is a time lapse. So the shadow here is 2 minutes and 30 seconds in real time. So here we go. There's the edge. And there's daylight again. I understand that. Let me get an image up. I understand what you're thinking. I fully do understand what you're thinking. And that's why I'm showing you the picture of the drone wherever I was. Let me play that again. Because the drone doesn't go down to 1/30th scale like the moon did. Whoops, where are we here? Downloads? I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I keep doing the wrong program. Okay, let me hit play on this, however I do that. Video? I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to let this loop. So the drone is, say, a foot wide. It's still a foot wide, and it's still a foot wide, and it's still a foot wide. It just gets less defined because whatever the edges of it aren't as clear as you go higher. But the shadow that I filmed of the solar eclipse you have to realize the scale that you're saying that is. We were looking at. Let me put you back on the desktop, I guess. I mean, I know you understand what happened, or what the size of the shadow and the penumbra and everything, and I just think that the concept makes sense, but the shadow doesn't make sense. Let's do the math, flat Earth math. So if the moon was 2,100 and some odd miles in diameter, and the shadow of it was 70, that would be about 1/30th scale. So the moon is projecting a crisp edge shadow that took 2.5 minutes to fly over me, and we call it totality. But those 2.5 minutes was 70 miles. Do the math. What was it, moving 1,500 miles an hour across the country? Whatever it was, I'm just making that up. But you can do the math. It doesn't change what happened in the sky or what happened on the ground. We have, we can look up in the sky and say anything we want to make up. But let's take what we actually know and not ignore it, okay? So we do know that there was a real shadow on the ground, like a real one. And we knew a size, so we have a shadow. What's that? Really, the umbra only. I've done a deep dive on the math. Okay, so, where is the umbra? Because that's really important. So is there an umbra on my, would you expect there to be an umbra on my drone here? I'm just curious. Because the concept would have to be the same. If it's leaving a shadow, I mean, it's a real shadow. I was in the dark, you know what I mean? It went from, I don't know if you've ever been to an eclipse, it's pretty weird. But it's like dark. It's like nighttime during the day, just for 2 minutes and 30 seconds for that one. So, I think it's important to note that this drone is not. So you're saying the moon is making a penumbra that's wider than itself, that's wider than the diameter. You said 3,000 miles in diameter. So it covers the whole country, right? Okay, I'm going to see that. Whoops. What does it say here? For your drone, there's only an umbra for the first few feet of the flight. The sun is 1/2 degree wide, so compare the size of the drone to that. Well, hold on. The sun's 1/2 degree wide, so then when we look up at the moon's 1/2 degree wide too. Right? So, I don't understand what you're saying. It would cover the whole sun, wouldn't it? I guess I'm talking about the size of the shadow. Let me pause this and look at the shadow. And it's just, I I would say that is we'll say that's in the contradiction or the contradictory category. So I'm going to just call it contradicts. Okay. There's things that contradict things. And if they, for me anyway, like if I say, I know that the ground is at rest, I can't then also say that the ground is rotating. Those contradict each other, and they cannot be something that a person can say at the same time and still have any kind of relevant thought. It's sort of well, what did it say contradictory was? It was like what did it say? Let me pull it up. The dictionary, it said to deny the truth of a statement by asserting the opposite. So this is what a contradiction is. So do you say, I observe the earth to be at rest, so I'm going to assert the opposite, that it's actually rotating. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say contradict. That was just an example. So that means when I say contradict, that means you're saying two things that cannot be part of the same belief. And of course, maybe I'm off my rocker, but I don't think I am. I think I have, when I'm trying to figure something out, I cannot have conflicting and contradictory things in together. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So I was going to show you my desktop, and I lost all... Oh, we're still watching that. Okay, sorry, guys. Let's see here. So anyway, you're saying that there's an umbra and a penumbra on the drone. And I don't think it would have anything to do with the size of the sun or the moon, but maybe that, like you said, angular size has what I want to see is at some point for there to be a 1/30th scale of my little drone flying there that looks like that. Because here's on my desktop. Let me stop the camera. Or no, I need to leave it going. Sorry. I gotta put you on desktop here. There we go. So like this was where I happened to be was in Nebraska, and we were just south of Lincoln. We were like right about here or something. We went right to the center of it. So as it went over, like this shadow here that we can see, the kind of the round shape of it, that shadow there is about 70 miles or something. It was 2 minutes and 36 seconds. It looks. That's what we were doing. We were trying to get it to the longest totality too. I will stop my camera and play a quick video of some of that footage. And maybe even play a little music for a second. Okay, let's see this. So I took my solar filter off. So I would make the bold claim that this shadow is the only shadow. I'm going to make the bold claim because I have reason to believe that because of the footage that I've taken of it from more than one camera, from 3 cameras. I had 3 cameras out. I even had my drone out up in the air till I saw some low-flying airplanes, and I was like, whoa, I better get it down. The shadow, I can't even say how big the shadow was other than how long it was over us, because I mean I didn't have a bird's eye view to see a 70-mile wide shadow. You'd have to be up in space to see that. So whoops, by the way, I think this music is White Bat Audio on YouTube here. check them out. So this is what we've seen. This is it. So let me show you what it looks like a little when I zoom in a little bit closer. Yeah, look at this. This is gonna be cool. You guys will like this. Should be here in a minute, but so I was looking and I was like, oh, I can see something on the edges of it. So I'm like, I'm zooming in. So that black thing there, that's the moon, right? So he wasn't saying anything about black light. That was something that you said, Flat Earth Math. Wes was right on. Wes was actually the most accurate, probably, that I could have ever expected anyone to say what NASA says when Wes said, according to NASA. And then he pretty much, I mean, you could probably look to different sources and get different wording, but Wes told you what NASA would tell you. And that Wes told you what the teachers at the university are teaching. So that's what Wes told you. He did say wobble, but he explained precisely and very clearly exactly what he meant by the word wobble. And when he did that, he was actually not explaining something he believes in at all, because Wes knows that it doesn't wobble. The moon goes over the earth. It's very simple. It's on a circuit. It goes and it follows the sun, and the sun passes it up. That's how it goes. But so that was the eclipse. That was so cool to watch. But let's watch this again. It's the shadow. That's the shadow right there. I understand there's an idea of the umbra and penumbra, and that's something that we could even see by doing little demonstrations or something. But we didn't see it with my drone. We didn't see it in this footage that I'm going to play right now again. This is 2.5 minutes from now until now. And that was the eclipse. If there's, like, I think what you're assuming is that if you cover half the sun up, that it's going to put a shadow somewhere. But it doesn't. Doesn't make a shadow. It didn't make a shadow until, I'll tell you when. Right now. And then it got dark out. And then it got light out. That's what it was. So to have a shadow that's 3,000 miles wide, that's like not much of a shadow. That's not what happened. I mean, I understand the concept. You cover up half the light, it should make it way darker out, but that's not what happens in reality. In reality, let me show you this picture. In reality, I don't even know if this is a real picture. It's probably not. NASA published photography of the eclipse today. I don't know if I even believe that. I'd have to get it from NASA. But it's so local, you guys. Let me see if I can find, there was a jet, there was a flight. You guys probably seen it before. And the guy was just saying, oh my God, the whole time, like crazy. And that ruined the whole video. For the audio part, it was horrible. The guy was just obnoxious. But we're going to look at some footage if I can find it. What I'm trying to say is that the moon, I don't know how far it is or whatever. I don't think you can know. What I'm saying is that the way that it is, the shadow it causes on the earth is a 70-mile wide shadow. With like, I don't know what the right word would be, but for like where it goes from shadow to no shadow, that kind of fuzzier, lighter, whatever, not as defined shadow, that's probably like 10 seconds. I don't know. Let's watch it again. There's a time lapse. I do have it on my channel. If you search on my channel for eclipses, I do have it in real time. You could watch it in real time. But that is not it doesn't work with what we all are supposed to believe about the sun and moon. I think there's so much more going on. Let's see. Let's look at videos here. See if I can find this. Alaska Airlines. I don't know. There's a bunch of them, I guess. Let's see if this is one. I gotta get your desktop up. Sorry, guys. I'm working on it. I'll play it again. Play it again. Oh, you guys are seeing it. Good. So, do you see how that is just like over just a very small area? That's from an airplane. So there's another one. Maybe it'll be better. Let's see here. Let me open YouTube. Maybe it'll suggest some good ones here. Maybe not, though. Let's do this. Let's look from Alaska Airlines. Okay, I got the sound off anyway. Yeah, so this is like real time, and watch how fast it changes there. The moon is small. It's a local shadow. So if the moon was 1,000,000 miles away, I don't know. But the combination of the sun and the moon being the same size or real close to the same size, angular size, and we get a 70-mile diameter shadow, or I'm just using that number. I'm not trying to say like that I know how specific or something. All I'm saying is the shadow was 2.5 minutes, and so it was about 70 miles. And it was probably moving like twice the speed of sound. I don't know. Something like that. But do you see in this video? So they're like in the shadow while they're flying. The point is that I don't think that there's any explanation you can't take any object, if it's a sphere of rock or whatever it is, if it's a physical object, you couldn't put it in front of the sun and have it do the things that our moon does when it's supposedly in front of the sun. Or Mercury, like when it's in front of the sun, it's a black dot, like it's a black silhouette. The moon is a silhouette when we're watching a eclipse. So we know that something's in the way, right? Or the sun's turning off or whatever it is. We don't really know exactly, but we know that there's a shadow on the ground, a real one. It's nighttime in this circular area that's just zipping across wherever it goes on the earth. And as that's happening, we can see it in the sky, and because they're the same angular size, the moon blocks out the sun. So that's solar eclipses. I don't think your shadow works on the heliocentric model. Whatever, your shadow just doesn't work at all. There is no penumbra. There was an umbra, or there was a shadow, basically. Let's see, F'd Up World did, let's see here. Did you know? Oh, I did not know that. That's cool. The one coming up here is going to have, he said, 115-mile wide umbra. So that would mean, what would that mean to you? I think that what that would mean to me is that it would have to be 115 miles wide to have a 115-mile wide umbra. That's what I think. So that would raise a question, how could it be 70 or bigger, smaller? I don't know. Good question. But I do know that you'd have a real hard time making a 1/30th scale shadow of anything with the sun. I don't think you can. I don't think anyone can, whether it's a moon in the sky or you hold a spoon up to the sun and tell me, look on the ground, and you can see if there should be a, like, 1/30th scale is really small, by the way. I mean, 1/30th. So, like, how could I, it's really not very big. 1/30th. So, like, probably like a Matchbox car. What scale is a Matchbox car? Something I should probably know, So that's what I'm looking up right now. Scale of all right, Matchbox cars. 164 scale. So what's something that's 1/30th scale? Like a model that's 1/30th scale. Let's see, what would be like maybe a kid's monster truck? Well, but I don't really know how big monster trucks are. Nah. Now we're going to go shopping. Let me get you over to Google. Let's see. No, but really, something 1/30th scale, that's like really small. Help me out in the chat. What's something 1/30th scale, guys, that I can get a picture of on the Google? Or here we go. I'll just type in 1/30th scale. How's that? Okay, let's just see what we can find. Images. All right. A tank. It doesn't help us. Let's see. Fire truck. That ain't gonna help. I suppose it's gonna be hard to know scale of some. How about a 1/30th scale house? Or yeah, house. That'll give us an idea, won't it? Looks just like a big house though, unless you have it next to something. Man, if I was selling dollhouses, I'd probably put something like have person stand in there so you'd know how big it was. Because dollhouses these days, they probably look so real. Okay, is this 1/30th scale? I just want something 1/30th scale. No, that's 30 pieces. Okay. Okay, let's do 1/30th scale person. Okay, maybe this are these 1/30 scale? Tell me they are. I don't know. I'm not even like trying to be too specific. Oh, what do we got here? Okay. This guy's 1/25th scale, so how big is that though? Do you guys see the dilemma I'm having right now? I cannot figure it out. I mean, usually you'd put like, what would you use to, I mean, a ruler, but all right, I'm not trying to think this morning here. Okay. The point is that the moon if the moon is 2,000 miles in diameter, somehow the shadow shrunk down to 70 or whatever in diameter, 70 miles. So for every 1 mile that the moon is in diameter, 1/30th of a mile is all that we got on the Earth for the shadow of the moon. So that's the solar eclipse that, I don't know I think it's the moon probably going in front of the sun and blocking out the light. That's what it looks like. Just like a lot of us think, but I can't say that I know it's the moon. And it is really weird that we don't see it approaching. I already played a video that was like probably a half hour before, and the moon should have been right there next to the sun. I should have been a black circle, and it wasn't. It just never came up. Like, it never showed up on the camera at all. Yeah, you need to make I see your comment here, and I will check out the video. The problem I'm finding is that I'm trying to show you that just the idea of an umbra and a penumbra has nothing to do with the eclipse. I know that it's the concept that you believe in, but I'm showing you, it's on the screen behind your words here, this shadow, that's the eclipse shadow. And it was very crisp edged, and that's when it got dark, and then that's when it got light. So you can cover up almost the whole sun with that, and it was still daylight, like normal. And I'm sure that the closer you go to totality, or the center of it, the darker it would be, right? because you wouldn't be like on the edge of it, or you'd be a longer period of time. But it's a shadow on the ground. So the point being is that there's no way we can make a shadow on the ground that's 1/30 of scale of anything. It just doesn't. That's why I did the video with the drone. The drone doesn't get. I mean, 1/30 of scale is very small. Like, how could the moon do that if it's so big? So I hope you get the point on that. Now, lunar eclipses, I was just showing. So this is just a quick video I took of a lunar eclipse when it was starting, and you can hear it's a P900 or P1000. You can hear it zooming in. So it's a P1000, I remember. But so I'm standing there holding it up, just right side up. There's like a problem already. That if the shadow of the Earth is what is being projected onto the moon, it's on the wrong side, because the ground's beneath my feet, not above my feet. That doesn't make any sense if you understand what I'm trying to show you there. So that's the beginning of it, and it's starting up there, yet the ground is beneath my feet. Doesn't work. That's something like, I don't know what it is. That's something weird happening. That's something, and so then I'm going to play a time lapse of that, a hokey time lapse of that. I think, where was it? Right here? Was it right here? No, that's a bad one. Okay, I got to rewind it though. Okay, so this is from through a telescope. It's not the ground. I know that. It's not the ground. And shadows usually aren't red. Actually, I should download a different video. I have a better video of that. Flat Earth Math says, here we go. The ground was also beneath the feet of folks in Australia who also watched the eclipse. LOL. Exactly. But how did they see the eclipse? So you're saying if I flip it upside down, then it makes sense, right? If I flip it upside down. So it makes sense for the people in Australia, but then it doesn't for us. So let's I don't want to cut short on your comment either. So it says, what produces either solar or lunar eclipses? So my answer to that would be, I'm not sure. Just like you aren't sure. Just like nobody's sure, because nobody would be able to say that like as a fact, would they? But I can say that the Earth is at rest as a fact, because we all know it. Even if we believe something to be different, like we believe, well, you wouldn't feel it. But the fact is that it's at rest. That's what I know. Everybody that's alive or ever lived, I think, pretty sure, they counted it on the Earth being solid and not moving. So that one's hard to argue with, because anytime someone would argue with that, they'd actually be standing or sitting or whatever on that place that's at rest. They would be at rest, if that makes sense. Let's see here. So let's see. Back to the desktop. Sorry, guys. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but I'm trying to get, just to make sure that I don't, like, skip this. How come the actual geometry of real-world eclipses matches the heliocentric model perfectly, yet is literally impossible in the flat Earth model? I don't think it's at all impossible. We all watched it happen. I mean, we all watched it, right? So the point I would make is, you don't expect to well, and maybe you're thinking about this wrong. I don't know. If the an event in the sky proves to you, or what, I don't really know what the right word is. If you're convinced about something because of an event in the sky, or because a measurement you took in the sky, or a motion in the sky, whatever, that would be, you can't say anything about the ground because of the sky at all. Because the sky does what it does, the ground does what it does, which is, I'll remind everybody, not moving. Ever. Unless there's an earthquake or landslide. That's really true. And everybody experiences, this is the only place we experience. So we perceive it and we experience it. It's an objective part of reality, kind of like up and down is. You know? So let's see. So I'd have to just disagree with that last part. Let's see what he says here. Uh-oh. Okay. I gotta stop. All right. My cam did stop. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Trying to make it easy on my computer. Okay. Afterworld, yes, we all watched it. So that's real world observation. Now compare that event to the geometry of flat Earth. See, I don't think you're looking at the flat Earth the way I am. The model of the flat Earth is actually out the front door of your house. That is the model. We live in the model. So the geometry it works great. Kind of like my equatorial mount. Like Red's Reddick was trying to basically tell me that his friend Astronomy Live, who's a pretty cool guy, he is in Florida and he's trying to do long exposure astrophotography. He's trying to film something over a period of time. And so he's using an equatorial mount and he is tracking what he's trying to take photos of. Why does he have to track it? Well, it's simple, because the sky's in motion and is rotating. The sky. This is objective. And here's the thing. It's the same as the Earth being at rest, in that it's hard to argue against the truth. Very hard. If I said, go outside and measure from the horizon the angle up to a star and get its location written down, and then go back out 5 minutes later, and I want you to do the same thing again to the same star, write down its location. If you give me those two locations that you wrote down, are they going to be the same or are they going to be different minutes apart? They're definitely going to be different. And you agree with me, Flat Earth Math, and every astronomer agrees with me, and every child that's read about Peter Pan and like everybody knows that the stars move ever so slowly in the night sky. That's what they do. They move. And actually, they move in a circle. All of them moving the same direction, whether you're in the north, the south, Hawaii, wherever you are, it doesn't matter. They're all going the same direction in a circle. And it's like a weird big circle. It's like a weird big circle. Because if you go to the north, there's like, it almost looks like you're looking down a tube. Almost like you're looking at a tube and it just keeps going on. And all the stars are going around the center of that rotation. They're rising in the east and setting in the west. So then you turn around and you look south, you travel all the way as far south as you can, and you will find that there's another all the way down there, there's another point that looks like it's just basically a never-ending. You can see the center of it. You can see it like where the center of it is with its motion. Same with the north, but they're all rising in the east and setting in the west everywhere. So when we're looking at it, you look south if you look to that point. But what happens if you're all the way in the south and you look to the north? You won't be able to see all the way in the north, but you'll see the stars going around the way they do in the north. And you'll notice that they're always going down towards the west, whether you're facing south or north. So they'll go clockwise if you're in the south, and they'll go counterclockwise if you're looking, or if you're looking south. But if you're looking north, they'll go counterclockwise. So all the stars are just doing like a big circle around what you could call Polaris, or you could choose the south. That they're both the same. So it's almost like if you had a tube or a paper towel roll or something, you put Earth inside of that paper towel roll. But I think that it's not like that, because we only see a very small portion of the sky from any one given place. You can stand at the equator and you can see almost the whole sky. Like you can see, to the north, you can see the axis point on the horizon, and you can do the same in the south from the equator. But if you go north or south, you're going to miss out on what's farther away from you. So, because some people say, why can't I see Polaris from the southern hemisphere, or like from Australia or something? It's like way too far away. I don't know why you would think, like, I'm in Minnesota, like north, and it's at 45 degrees for me. So the farther you go away from it, it goes down towards the horizon, just like when you throw a baseball, or when you throw a bowling ball, it goes kind of up to the horizon, right? Because it's beneath you. Anything above you goes down towards the horizon. So let's see. Down to the mile. I think your math doesn't work, flat Earth math. I'll show you why. I can tell you why. Because curvature isn't a thing. Like I just drove my truck like down to, what was it called? It was at an airport a hangar at an airport. It was in Griffith, Merrillville, Indiana. It was just south of Chicago, and I was looking at those towers in Chicago because we went through Chicago on the way back, and I was like, you know what? You can see that tower from the other side of Lake Michigan, and that's really far. Like really, really far. Just that right there is enough to say that water is not curving enough to have a 25,000 mile circumference. And you can do the math, but then that gets to be a sticky situation, because that becomes more of something that people just believe. They believe that it's curving, or they believe that they can do some kind of blink test, or they can do some kind of thing that shows, oh, the water, is covering up the bottom of the building. So that must, I mean, how could water get up that high, right? It has to be curvature. That's what they would say. Until, like, a lot of people, when they learn a different way to look at it, are like, oh, well, that's not curvature. It can't be. Left to right would have to have the same curvature, and it doesn't. So, like, it's kind of clear that boats get small, and the waves close to you and the swell and things cover up the boat, because the waves are way bigger than the size of the boat when it's far enough away from you. It's just the way you're just going to see the highest waves between you and the boat. The very highest waves, that's what you're going to see. And they're going to cover up the boat. Because if you go left and right, you can see much farther than that boat, all of a sudden the boat's gone now. Well, left and right, you have a straight line. So that's like, it's clearly something that our mind is like has a hard time putting together. The size of the plane that we're looking across. It's like when I was on the road trip, I'm like, I can see maybe like a mile and a half or two when there's like super straight, long, clear, like we had good weather. I could see maybe like a mile and a half or two. I don't really know, but it was no more than that in front of me, and everything comes to a dot, a point. Like you could zoom in, I'm sure, but what I'm saying is when I'm driving, I'm looking as far as I can, and it's about a mile and a half or two that everything is shrunk down to nothing, shrunk down to not being there. And I have to drive a mile and a half to see what's next. So when we're looking 60 or 50 or 40 or 30 miles across the water, if you see anything that far, it's not like a mirage or something. You're seeing what you're seeing right there. So yeah, believe your eye. Do believe your eyes, but I'm kind of losing my my focus here. Let's see. If the Earth were flat, they'd trace ovals. That's perspective, looking at circular passive stars around North Pole, Polaris, but from the side. Who would look at it from the side? I'm not sure. We do look at it we look at it from all over the place. Like here, I'll show you a video or a time lapse. I mean, and then I got a question for you too. In this next video that I'm gonna play, you have to tell me what is in motion. Is there anything in this little, do you got the right screen? I didn't give you the screen yet, sorry. Start cam. Sorry, guys. Okay. Answer to me. This, I shot this in my backyard, so the center is 45 degrees right there. What is in motion in the video I took? And I'll even give you a hint. I used a tripod and did not move the camera. I promise I didn't move the camera while I videotaped this. Or it was a bunch of pictures. It was a time lapse. Thank you. Stacy gets the right answer. And the reason why Stacy gets the right answer is because it's the truth. And some people say, well, it looks like the stars are moving, but they're not actually moving. And I would have to agree with Stacy and remind you that it's actually a video of the stars moving. That's all it is. It's very simple. I mean, if I was to tell you it was like, here, how about this? See my name on there, Effed Up World TV is like right side. Let's just do this. Here's what it looks like in the northern hemisphere. Now, here's what it looks like in the southern hemisphere. See? But you'd have to go, there's a long space between these 2 points. A super long space. So like if you were to look up, you'd see them like going over you, like from the east to the west, just like we do. That's what they do. So then if you were to turn back around and go north, you would see what I see from my backyard. So they all do that. So if I was to turn around right now and take a picture of towards the south, so we'd turn it around, so it would be going clockwise, and then what it would look like from my house, it would look more like that, and not even, it would be more like that. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That would be kind of above me to the south, because they're just still rising in the east and setting in the west, but I can't see the center down there because way too far away. So I'd like a lot of this would be covered up. It would be like way up here that we'd see. Way up there. And then as we drove south, we'd get to the equator, and that's what we'd see. We'd see this. Whoops, sorry. We'd see this at the equator. So we'd be looking south. We'd see that at the equator. Then we'd turn around at the equator and face north, and then we'd see that. And then as we drove north, we'd start seeing the center of axis going farther up in the sky, because we'd actually be driving towards this star if we're going north. And then we'd, like, once we got under that star, then that's the farthest you could go, or I don't really know. But I'm not saying you could get to the star, but you could get beneath the star, I think. I don't even know if there's a place, if there's a real place like that that's actually under that star. But I do know that no matter where you are, the stars are doing the same course around the Earth or above the Earth, because the ground is down here, so I can't even see those ones that are going down below the ground. And the ones above are called circumpolar stars. Those are the ones we can see, like, doing a whole circle. But we don't actually ever see the whole circle because the sun comes around and there's daytime. But we can get, a certain amount of it, and then we can kind of imagine the rest, and they come around about every 24 hours. So that works great on a flat Earth. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't really think there's an observation that anybody has ever made of anything other than what I just explained. And again, if the Earth was shaped like a desk fan, but we all lived here, like, and we didn't know, but we all experienced the things the way we do, then I would say that's what a desk fan looks like what the Earth does. But you can't make a model of it like just being a ball and then expecting it, because all the measurements, of course, they're going to work. All the predictions, of course, are going to work, because there is no predictions. No predictions are being made. A prediction, here, I'll make a prediction. I already made one in this stream. So tonight, or this morning, the moon is like half filled, right, with light? Well, I can make a prediction that in 7 days, you won't see the moon. And I can make a prediction that in 28 days, the moon will look exactly like it looks right now. And then in another 7 days, you won't see the moon. It does a cycle like this every single month. And it's simple. But, so yeah, I was just commenting on some of that stuff. I don't want to keep rambling on, but there's a lot I could talk about. Let me just talk about NASA for a minute too, because I think NASA is an important agency for us to, fulfill the end times and all that stuff. You guys, I just put a video on TikTok that I need some more TikTok followers, guys. Or I mean, some more YouTube followers. Here's a video. I'll play a second of it. Oh, it's too quiet. How did the Book of Revelation know this would happen? I'll put it up on my YouTube also after this stream. End times things that the Bible talked about are happening today, right in front of our eyes, like fire coming down out of the sky. Like, people don't even really realize that that's happening, but it is. So let's see. NASA, not a single accomplishment. NASA needs to film the new moon from the space station. Think about that. Why has this not been done? I want to see the new moon when it's like right near the sun. Because like Flat Earth Math was saying that the daylight covers it up, or, the light from it blinds it out or whatever. Well, if you're above the atmosphere, you should be able to get a shot, right? So in other words, well, if they're above Earth's atmosphere, they should be able to see very clearly the new moon every 28 days and approaching and going forth. Like, So in other words, they can't film the new moon from low Earth orbit because the globe is just a trick from the devil. It's a lie. Because a globe has to spin, a globe has to rotate, right? I suppose some people don't think that, but the globe that anyone is always trying to push, like the one Flat Earth Math thinks it's a globe. It's that globe I'm talking about. That's a lie because, well, there's no truth in it. It's not rotating. But the one Flat Earth Math believes in has to be rotating. Otherwise, you'd never have day and night. Or I don't know. I don't know how it would work. But he believes in one that I know isn't right. So the moon actually doesn't appear to anyone on Earth or in space. Just ask NASA, LOL, for a few days every 28 days. As a reminder, don't forget all the nominal fakery and lies that we get from well-funded government agencies. They're efficient with that stuff. I need to remind you because the history books will not mention anything truthful about the time we live in now. So I'd expect that they would represent history the same way the Earth is at rest, but the same agencies raise us on a rotating globe. So that's kind of how the information gets passed along, like that. We're learning that. I mean, the things that are supposed to be true are just purely ridiculed and taught that they're wrong. Everyone's taught that they're wrong. We were raised in a world where they're wrong. Back to the new moon that NASA never films from the space station. It should be a black silhouette in a daytime sky, because when it's close to new moon or when it's close to the sun like that, whether it's above it, below it, it should still be a dark spot because the sunlight is so intense near the area where the sunlight is, That's how we see it during the solar eclipse. That's how we see it when Mercury went in front of it, November 11th, 2019. I watched it. It was a black silhouette. But we don't see a black silhouette like coming up to the sun when there's an eclipse. But then it's a black silhouette when it blocks the sun. But we don't really see it going away from the sun either. But Stellarium shows it that way. Like the CGI globe predicted program, that shows it as a black, thing blocking the light, even if it's not in front of it. But that's not what we see in the sky. So Flat Earth Math, that's what I would try to point out is make sure that you're making observations that are real and not just taking, the idea that you think is right, that you learned or that you have studied out or whatever. Because a lot of these things are just plain wrong. It's not like we're trying to be wrong or something. We're trying to be right. So if a contradiction is present in your belief system, it needs to be examined. That's what I would say. I had to examine my own belief system on many things. I think a lot of people have examined their belief system about pharmaceutical drugs and stuff in the last few years. I think a lot of people have also done the same thing about this sure thing globe that we were on. See, that's the thing. People say, well, why is the Earth a special planet? Why does it have to be flat and the other ones have to be all around or whatever? And David Weiss says, well, what are the shape of the lights in your room? They're like circles, but the floor's not a circle. They don't have to be the same shape. And that's what I'd say. The Earth that we live on is beneath us. It's never in the sky. It's never like anything in the sky. Food, life, love, men, women, children, toys, animals, none of that exists anywhere but the earth. So just think about it that way. I think it would be dumb to try to go somewhere else. In a place of darkness, I would actually start to be thinking that the truth can be a light in a place of darkness, and we have already kind of found ourselves in a place of darkness. I'm even trying to say here, I'm trying to remind Flat Earth Math that he doesn't live in a place of darkness, a pit of darkness where everything's falling perpetually, including the earth. Earth's at a state of free fall around the sun, they say. That's like, it should be like something that people can perceive, that there's deception happening, and it's not a conspiracy of men. It's a conspiracy of devils that reside in that darkness. So, way to go falling for a trap. We all did it. Now it's like, what happened? I was bringing someone to get their keys. They went canoeing or something. So they had to have two cars, and they like parked one where they were going to drop the canoes off, and then they parked one where they were going to go to with the canoes, right? Well, then they forgot their keys in one of the cars, and I was close by, and they called me. I said, yeah, sure, I'll give you a ride. Went and got them at the place where they canoed to. Took them to the first place where they had their keys because they left them in the first car, and they should have brought them to the second car. Otherwise, you get what I'm saying. So we got to the second car, and then they said, oh, I forgot the keys in the cooler or something, which was back at where we met them. So what did I say? I said, well, let's go back there and get them. And because they were like, oh, sorry. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter now, does it? Like, don't have the keys, need the keys. So, like, because we were just about to say, all right, cool, I'm done. I was going to drop them off and be done, head home or whatever. So it would have been like quick. But then I had to give him another ride. Didn't really care. But it was a moment of where all of us were kind of like, oh, it would have been nice if that sucks that that the keys forgot. It's like another 10-minute ride or something. But it was kind of like, I was just kind of like, well, that don't matter even. That's a thing of the past. Like, now the point would be to be going to get the keys, go back and get the keys, if that story made any sense. Once something happens, and it becomes known to you. I mean, we drove 10 miles or whatever. We didn't know we didn't have the keys. We thought we did, but we didn't. So once we realized we didn't, there's no sense in like trying to like, once you know where they are and you didn't bring them, just start going back and on the way to go get them, because it doesn't do you any good to like hope that the keys are with you and they're not. Let's just do it. Like a thing of the past. You get what I'm saying? So if you're taught a lie and you believed it along with the rest of us, entire world, if you can identify it as a lie, then you have to examine the whole thing. And when you do examine the whole thing, you start to see that it crumbles, because the whole thing is a lie. All of it is a lie. And there's many of us that are just sitting here pointing out parts of that lie. I mean, there's lots of parts of that lie. So what I'm going to do is play a video and get out of here. And hope you guys all have a good day. Let's see. Just trying to play something relevant, I suppose. But since we're talking about rotating, let's, I'm sure that Flat Earth Math has heard of Simon Dan. And we all know Simon Dan he says, that's real science. So let's have some fun on our way out. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. And I think me and Thomas are going to come on live later on today, this afternoon, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock This afternoon we're going to talk about when the transfiguration, I think, a little bit. But we're kind of trying to talk about the prophets and the stuff that they foretold, and just pointed out specific things that seem like way too specific to ignore. So I'll put that I'll make it live or whatever this afternoon sometime. So hope to see you for that. And let's check out Simon Dan, and I think another guest that wasn't so happy about being in the video, but here's Simon Dan and her, and maybe even some other people.
And welcome to another episode of Effed Up World TV. I'm your host, Simon Dan.
Thank you, come again.
If Earth is supposedly rotating, why don't you have any proof? It is like you have to imagine something to believe that it is rotating. Why do you think it is rotating? I think it is not rotating. I live on it, and I don't see any reason to believe that it is rotating. What could possibly make you think it is rotating? If it was rotating, you would have evidence of it rotating, but it is just sitting there, perfectly stationary with no signs at all of any rotating.
Make sure to subscribe to Effed Up World for more Flat Earth videos. Thank you very much for watching. And until the next one, I'm Simon Dan.
Have to rely on space instead.
The problem is the moon. The problem is the moon. We don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology in a nanosecond. We don't have the technology to do that anymore, and it's a painful process to build it back again. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. We used to build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. We used to build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again. In a nanosecond, destroyed that technology, destroyed that technology, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again, build it back again.